Saira. This is Megha Miss here, and today we will continue with our lesson number 5, acids, bases and salts. This is our session 5. Okay students, now in session 4 we'll just have a recap what we have studied. Okay, so you studied about reactions of acids and bases. In that, the reaction of acids with oxides of metals you saw, reaction of bases with oxides of non-metals you saw. Yes, that means both the oxides of metals and non-metals, they react with the acids and bases. Okay, then you saw reaction of acids with carbonates and bicarbonates of metals, sodium carbonate and sodium bicarbonate you saw. Okay, hydrogen gas is evolving, okay, in this. So next topic which you studied, that was salts. Yes, you studied types of salts, acidic salts, basic salts and the neutral salt. And I gave you many examples also. One chart, small chart I showed you where I told you different types of examples. Please go through the before presentation again so that as it was a long gap, you can revise it again. Okay, so today we will continue with the next topic in the chapter. Okay, so our next topic is now water of crystallization. Now what is this water of crystallization, students? For that we will perform this small activity. Okay, now what is our activity? We'll see that first. Take some crystals of blue vitriol in 2 test tubes. So I am taking blue vitriol is a compound. I am taking it, it is a chemical basically. I am taking it in 2 test tubes. Okay, you can see a 2 test tubes there in the diagram also. Add some water in 1 test tube and shake it. What did you see? What I have to do? I have to add some water in one of the test tube and I have to shake it, and I'll see something is happening or what. Okay, what is the color of the solution formed? Some color change may be there. We will see what will be our observations. Next, what I have to do? Heat the other test tube on a low flame of the burner. What did you see? What change did occur in the color of the blue vitriol? What did you see in the upper part of the test tube? So see here, the second test tube which I told you. See here, this is the blue copper sulfate, blue it is given. Okay, on giving heat to copper sulfate, you can see here copper sulfate, it has changed to white. So color has been changed of the blue vitriol. Okay, drops of water you can see on the upper part of the test tube. Okay, so here only you can see the changes what is going to happen in the second test tube. Okay students, so we will continue. So yes, we will next continue the part. When the second test tube cools down, add some water in it. So in the second test tube only, after heating, I'll add some water. Okay, and shake, and I'll shake it. What is the color of the resulting solution? I have to see, is there any color change? Okay, what inference can be drawn from this observation? So many observations now I told you in the diagram also. When you read it out, you can see that there are different what you can say changes has been occurred here. Yes, so we'll see what are these changes. Okay, now see here, on heating, our first observation we will see. Now on heating, the crystalline structure of blue vitriol broke down. Okay, because of the heat, the structure of the blue vitriol, it broke down to form a colorless powder and water came out. You saw blue vitriol means copper sulfate. Okay, it is the next name for the copper sulfate. Now what is happening? You saw in the upper parts water was there and it has become colorless. Okay, this water was part of the crystalline structure of the blue vitriol, means this water is already present in that blue vitriol. Okay, it is called as water of crystallization. So such of the compounds which contain water in it already, okay, we will call it as the water of crystallization. Okay students, on adding water to the white powder, a solution was formed which had the same color as the solution in the first test tube. Okay, in the first test tube you added some water, right? From this we come to know that no chemical change has occurred in the crystals of blue vitriol due to heating. So is there any change occur there? No, but what we thought, yes, change occurred. You thought na, because blue color changed to white. Yes, but what it is saying? No, no color chemical change has occurred. It is just the water of crystallization, because of the heating, has been removed from the blue vitriol. Okay students, so losing water on heating blue vitriol, breaking down of the crystalline structure, losing blue color and regaining the blue color on adding water are all physical changes. Okay students, which type of changes took place here? Physical changes. Okay, so again I'll read it. Losing water on heating blue vitriol, okay, that is copper sulfate. Breaking down of the crystal structure, losing blue color and regaining the blue color. When you add the water to that white crystal powder, again blue color will come back. Okay, so these are all the physical changes. Okay students, did you understand? Before what we thought that yes, some chemical change has taken place. Yes, because blue color on heating turned to white and water was there, droplets on the test tube. But no, what is our observation student? These all whatever changes took place, they are our physical changes. Okay, next part we will see. Ionic compounds are crystalline in nature. Now you have studied about ionic compounds. Yes, NaCl, best example. These crystals are formed as a result of definite arrangement of ions. Okay, for example, if I take NaCl, Na plus and Cl minus ions, they are arranged very particularly in this crystalline structure. Okay. In the crystals of some compounds, water molecules are also included in this arrangement. Now in NaCl you don't have water. You can't see in the structure water is there. But some of the compounds you can see that water is also added in their crystalline structure. Okay. The water of crystallization, that is the water of crystallization. The water of crystallization is present in a definite proportion of the chemical formula of that compound. Okay, it is in a fixed proportion, it doesn't change. It is indicated in the chemical formula as given below. So these are the, we'll see some of the compounds. See here, you can see crystalline blue vitriol CuSO4.5H2O. So how many water molecules will be there? 5. Okay, this is the standard one. Okay, then crystalline ferrous sulfate green vitriol FeSO4.7H2O, we put a dot. Okay, then crystalline washing soda Na2CO3.10H2O, and crystalline alum you have K2SO4.Al2SO4 thrice.24H2O. Okay students, these are the examples. You are going to remember them. They are given in your text. You can make a note of this. Okay, I hope you understood these examples also. So this 10H2O already are present in that. For example, if I take crystalline washing soda, Na2CO3 will be its structure. In that structure, this 10 water molecules will be present. Okay, I hope you understood this. We'll continue. Now the ionic compounds and electrical conductivity. Now we will see whether the ionic compounds which are formed, which you studied, do they conduct electricity? We will see that by doing this activity. Now what is this activity students? Prepare a solution of 1 gram sodium chloride in 50 ml water. So I'll measure 50 ml water. In that I'll put 1 gram. I'll weigh 1 gram sodium chloride. Yes, NaCl. Okay, and I'll put it in that. Take 2 electrical wires. Connect one wire to the positive terminal of a 6 volt battery. I'll require a battery. You can see here my battery is there. Okay, so one wire I'll connect to the positive terminal. Okay, can you see here the positive is written? Okay, and another here negative is written. And what I am going to do, while connecting the other wire to the negative terminal of the battery, include one switch and one holder with an electric bulb. Can you see I am taking a electric bulb and I am going to take a switch also. Okay, to the next. Remove the insulating cladding from 3 cm portion of the other free ends of the 2 wires. Okay, so what I am going to do, you know, we remove that cladding which we call. So how much you have to remove that cladding? 3 cm portion. Okay, of the free ends, and I have to make the free ends. Okay, so that I can insert them inside my solution. Okay, now we'll see. Yes, take the salt solution in a 100 ml capacity beaker. Okay, so here you can see a beaker is there. Okay, in that blue color solution also you can see. And what I am going to do, and immerse the uncovered end of the two wires in it, keeping the wire erect with the help of a support. How I am going to keep? See, bare electric wire is written here. I have to keep them straight. Okay, now what we have to do, switch on the current. Note whether the bulb glows. Repeat the same procedure using solution of 1 gram copper sulfate, 1 gram glucose, 1 gram urea, 5 ml dilute H2SO4 and 5 ml dilute NaOH, each in 50 ml water. Record your observations in a table. Okay, so we will see whether this bulb glows when I am switching on the current. Okay students, now we will see whether what happens, our observation. Yes, the bulb glows only when electric current passes through it. What we understood, student? Yes, when you switch on the current, we saw that the bulb is glowing. Okay, and this can happen only when the electric circuit is complete. Of course, when the electric circuit is complete, that time only bulb will glow. Okay, in the above activity, the circuit is found to be complete when the aqueous solution of NaCl, CuSO4, H2SO4 and NaOH are used. Okay students, so which compounds you are seeing here? NaCl, CuSO4, H2SO4 and NaOH. It means that these solutions are conductors of electricity. Okay, so if you use these solutions, aqueous solution, yes, because we are taking 50 ml of water, so they become aqueous solution. So when you use this aqueous solutions and when you put a electric wires in it and you connect it to the battery and a bulb, you see that yes, it glows. Okay, I hope you understood the experiment. Okay, so electrons conduct electricity through electrical wires. Who conducts? Electrons. And ions conduct electricity through a liquid or a solution. Okay, so Na plus and Cl minus ions will be formed in that aqueous solution of whatever water I have added. So they are responsible for conducting the electricity. So electrons leave the battery at the negative terminal, complete the electric circuit and enter the battery at the positive terminal. What electrons will do? They will leave the battery at the negative terminal, complete the electrical circuit and enter the battery at the positive terminal. When there is a liquid or a solution in the circuit, two rods, wires or plates are immersed in it. We have seen here wires we have immersed. Okay, these are called as electrodes. What you will call that two ends of the wires which we have kept straight, we'll call them as the electrodes. Okay, electrodes are usually made of a conducting solid. Okay, any conducting solid if you take, we will call them as the electrodes. The electrode connected to the negative terminal of the battery by a means of a conducting wire is called as a cathode. Yes students, this you will remember, important. Electrode connected to the negative terminal, we will call it as the cathode, and electrode which is connected to the positive terminal, you will call it as the anode. So anode, positive terminal and electrode is important. Here also electrode, negative terminal, we will call it as the cathode. I hope students you understood this part. Yes, so whichever negative terminal electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is a cathode, and electrode connected to the positive terminal is the anode. And what is electrode student? It is any conducting solids. Okay, any metal also can react as a electrode. Okay, I hope you understood till here. Yes, cathode and anode, we studied two new terms. Okay, so today here we come to the end of today's session. So today we studied about students water of crystallization. You saw this water of crystallization is already present in the structure of the compounds. Okay, and when you heat this compound, this water of crystallization comes out, we can say, or evaporates, we can say. But when you add water again to them, yes, they will gain back its color. Okay, then we studied about ionic compounds and electrical conductivity. We saw that some of the ionic compounds, they have the capability to conduct the electricity. Yes, we saw the example NaCl, H2SO4, CuSO4, NaOH. Okay, these are the compounds which are capable of conducting the electricity. Okay students, we saw through the experiments. I hope today's part you have understood. We'll meet in the next presentation. Thank you. Take care. Sai Ram.